KSBA will offer its 15th annual federal and state law update Tuesday, April 20th from 9 a.m. until noon Eastern. This 3-hour training will once again be offered conveniently as a live virtual conference. And the training will be presented once again by knowledgeable KSBA attorneys and policy staff, 3 of whom are joining me to provide a quick preview of the agenda. KSBA Director of Advocacy, Eric Kennedy, Director of Policy and E-Meeting Services, Katrina Kinman, and Staff Attorney, John Fogel. First, Eric, you just wrapped up another regular session of the General Assembly, a short session, but a busy one featuring some rather consequential pieces of legislation. As always, there's a lot to unpack as to the passage of these bills that will impact our public schools. So what are some of the topics you will be addressing in this year's law update?
That's right. There were several major pieces of legislation that passed. Some will impact your local board policies and some won't. We will talk a lot about the supplemental school year that may be something that school boards choose to do next year. We'll also talk about some major changes to the open records law that will directly change how school boards respond to open records requests that they receive, and just a myriad of other issues, including the state budget bill that saw some amendments this session.
And Katrina, your team of policy experts are now tasked with the annual update to board policies and procedures following the legislative session. So what regulatory guidance can boards and district personnel expect to hear about April 20th at our law update?
We are still identifying all the different policy and procedure areas that are going to be impacted. It looks like probably about 30 policies, not as many procedures. But besides the legislative session, there have been regulatory changes throughout the year since last year's update, such as guidance on graduation requirements, the bus driver regulations have changed. So there are several things like that that will also be addressed in this update.
And John, obviously a lot to talk about at the state level, but there are some developments folks need to be aware of at the federal level too. And what law update would be complete without updates on open meetings? What have you got for us?
Yeah, I'm going to look at HB 312, as Eric alluded to, has a significant amendment to the Open Records Act. It will give districts a little more time. It's going to require some posting of new procedures. We'll be working on those. It requires a new form from the Attorney General. Then the Open Meetings Act wasn't amended, but SB 150 from 2020 that were under which the governor's state of emergency is executive order for the general state of emergency. That's still in effect, and that 2020 bill has some flexibilities for meetings that folks are familiar with, but I'm going to review that and try to cover how long those flexibilities may stay in effect, and give some information on that. Then I'm going to look at some of the federal case law, namely the Bostock case that extended employment discrimination protections to sexual orientation and gender identity, and kind of cover what might be expected down the road on those issues.
Okay. Once again, KSBA's 15th annual federal and state law update is right around the corner, April 20th, hosted virtually. Always a great primer for districts. And for more information and easy online registration, visit ksba.org and check under the training and events tab. We hope to see you there.